Hey, good morning, good day, fellow babies. Welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. We are hopeful that you are watching as a Patreon patron. If you are, thank you so much. You're getting it real time. We also are hopeful that you have figured out how to link your Twitch Prime account to your Amazon account. If you can do that, we're getting paid there as well. So you're getting it real time. And if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, that'll work for us as well. If you can't do any of those things, if you don't have the money, I totally get it. Then you're watching a week late. But again, we appreciate your patronage. At a minimum, please follow me on Twitter at Michael Pachter. Today's question from YouTube from Raymond. If Microsoft's next big strategy is Game Pass and xCloud, could Microsoft turn Xbox into an open platform like Google with Android? Then other companies could create Xbox consoles with strict guidelines and minimum specs. Yeah, I think the cloud, pretty much the specs are in the cloud. The interesting thing is that we still have latency as an issue. So on single player, you can play anything in the cloud, and it honestly doesn't matter. And so that requires no packet loss. One bit of information, I pull the triggers, all that goes back and forth. And that's why it looks real time. And if you take away those consoles and push it all up to the cloud, now everything, where I'm aiming, where you're moving, is my line of sight proper, is all happening in the cloud and going back to both of us. And then your action, my action coming back and process. And that's the problem, that there's so much information going back and forth. There's packet loss. They lose some of the information, and the packet loss causes it to recompute. And so it's that constant tweaking that causes the 30 milliseconds or more of lag. And with 30 milliseconds or more, it starts to become perceptible. So regular Joe players probably can't tell, but esports players can, and it's just enough to really make people annoyed. So the answer is, yeah, you can make an open platform, but it really, you don't need Google or Android or anybody else. The platform is in the cloud. So when I use the Bank of America app in the cloud, all that's downloaded on my phone is an app. It's probably a 30 megabyte file, and all that is for the user interface. So when I click a photo of my check to deposit it, I don't actually care if it takes 100 or 200 or 1,000 milliseconds for the image to upload and get recognized by the server, because I'm not waiting for a multiplayer. So that's what xCloud is going to be, that you're going to use any screen and the cloud's going to do all the heavy lifting. It will totally work for single player. It probably doesn't work for multiplayer. And the solution to multiplayer is distributed consoles, which is why I think Amazon wins. I think the guy who makes the cheapest console that is a multi-purpose device, and ultimately, I'll tell you, Apple could win too. If you had a TV with a CPU and a GPU built in, and an internet device, so a Roku TV that also had a CPU and a GPU and knew how to reach the cloud, and all you do is click Xbox, and it suddenly would sign up for Game Pass, and all your games would show up, that would totally work. That's coming. I don't think that's coming next week. I don't think that's coming next year. I think the problem is building it into a TV is more than $100. It's probably $200 or $300, and you're not going to buy a TV that costs $300 more than the other guy. But an Amazon Echo device, where they already need to have you able to talk. I can't talk about this because I have the device right there. But they have you talk to their voice-enabled assistant and ask that voice-enabled assistant to play Call of Duty. They're already building that for you to say, hey, voice-enabled assistant, what's the weather outside? Or is it going to rain? Or how many miles is it to Ventura? And so they've already got a CPU and a GPU in there. Adding flash memory, literally, where did I put it? Here it is. I bought this 128 gigs USB for $14.95. So if 128 gigs retail on Amazon is $14.95, what's it cost to make? $8? So sure, Amazon can put 256 gigs into an Echo device. Of course they can. And a CPU GPU from an Xbox One, $25. So for $50, they can really build a phenomenal Echo device. And if they raise the price of Prime only for gamers to 150 from 119 a year, you'll pay it. And you get multiplayer gaming, and you get this, you buy your Echo device for $100, pay us 150 a year. And if you want to play Call of Duty, just say, hey, voice enabled assistant, download Call of Duty, $60, it happens. Now you'll say, wait a minute, 256 gigs isn't enough because Call of Duty is 123. My Kindle has about 100 books on it. They aren't all there. The only one that's there is the last one I read. And if I decide to open a new one, I've got to be on Wi-Fi, and it starts downloading the book for me. And by the time I'm on page 3, the book is fully downloaded. They'll just replace whatever, whenever you want to play it. So yes, I think that's all coming. And I got to get back to your question. So, I think Microsoft is heading this way. I think Amazon is heading this way. I think that the tech companies have a huge advantage over the consumer products companies because they get the cloud. And remember, I said Microsoft and Amazon. Those are the 2 biggest cloud providers in the world, and Google's 3rd. Those are the guys. So they're the ones who are all in for this because they're already building the cloud, and they actually have the infrastructure investment built, and they will figure this out. So yes, I think that's happening. Yes, I think it'll be open platform, and I don't think it makes any difference at all. More people are going to play games. That's good for everybody. Publishers will sell more copies, meaning developers will make more money, meaning games will get better. We're going to get more of them, and they're going to be better. So think about streaming the way you think about Netflix. 20 years ago, there were 150 scripted television shows made in English in the US. In 2019, there were 470, more than tripled. And that's because of streaming services, because there's more people buying content. So that's good. And the thing is, if you like anime, there were more anime shows. If you like LGBTQ shows, there were more LGBTQ shows. If you like, horror, there were more horror shows. It doesn't matter what you like. There's more of them because there's a market for it. So all you need to do is get distributed gaming, and you're going to have more and more and more content, and that's great. Thank you for joining us on Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. And if you're a Patreon patron, we really appreciate it. Our Twitch Prime customers who have linked their Twitch Prime account to their Amazon Prime account, thank you, we're getting paid. Our YouTube subscribers, thank you, we're getting paid. Everybody else, thanks for indulging us.